What's going on, everyone? This is the Warehouse Series. I welcome you to the channel. So I'm going to start by responding to a comment that I get frequently, and every time I get this comment, I literally address it on a video because I think it's important to just keep reiterating it. And I really wish people would not judge my channel off of one video. So if you've been watching me for any length of time, you're going to know as soon as I say it, and that is, why do you promote this type of work? All right, so if you have followed me for any length of time, I tell you that it is not a career. If you are a straight selector, you're going into a warehouse that has no various jobs and is just selecting, I tell you, you should have a goal, you should have a plan, whether you're paying off debt or you're buying a house. Get in, make as much money as possible, and then get out. All right, how long that is, I don't know, 2 to 5 years, whatever it is. And I say that I think it's good for people that have variety jobs, loading trucks, doing various jobs, selecting, doing forklift operator. If you're going into a warehouse where you could do different things, then you could definitely make a career out of it because you're not going to be breaking your back every day at work. So with that being said, guys, I hope once again I get that out there, that I do not promote this type of work as a career unless you could move around the warehouse. So that's that. Let's get to today's video. Remember, guys, I am here to try to help you. Now, most of these or some of these pictures are not Discord members. It's people taking pictures of other people's work in the warehouse as well. And why do I put them on here? Because I think it's important, because every pallet has a flaw that I am trying to get other people to do better. So their work is also going to help you with your work. So guys, if you want to do all this, if you want to join Discord, link in the description below, subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to donate, you know I appreciate it, guys. Give me a thumbs up, and let's get to today's video. All right, guys, so the first picture I'm going to look at was someone snapped a picture in the warehouse, and this person knows how to build. They did a really nice job on this, but the problem is that you have 2 bases on one pallet, and then you have all this stuff. Now, I don't know what's going on with this pallet, if we have crushable cases down here, or if the middle of our pallet had a hole in it, and we leaned the case, and the whole thing started to rock. I'm not 100% sure because it's wrapped really tight, but my thing is if I start a pallet that is getting all weight, I go about waist high. And if I still have a lot of weight coming, I try to switch to the back pallet and establish a second base. After I establish that second base, I go back to the front pallet and then build it up. And then I come back to my back pallet again. That is how I build all the time. I know where my first bases are in the warehouse, and I know where to start my second base at. This person knows how to build, but they just put way too much weight on one pallet. All right, guys, when it comes to these strawberries, now you hear us say all the time, over in Discord, and you hear me say it on this channel, that it's okay to call them stack and produce, but to what extent? All right, so these bigger strawberries up here, you probably could have got away with putting them this high because they are a wider case. They have a bigger stance on them. They're not going to lean like this. What would I have done? All right, so I don't know how many strawberries are here. I'm just going to take a guess. Maybe you got like 30 strawberries. First of all, these are a 4 block going down the side. I would have pointed these cases in towards the middle, and I would have did the whole side of this. So I would have had probably a stack this high of strawberries, because I know that this is going to happen once you start stacking them too high. If these cases were on here before you got the strawberries, I would have just pushed them right off the side of the pallet. I would have stacked my strawberries, and I would have picked these 4 or 5 cases back up and put it on top of my strawberries. I would not call them stack these strawberries this high. That is why you're getting the lean, and I do not put these cases on their sides, and I'm going to explain why in a minute, because I got more pictures with these cases coming up. But yeah, your strawberries just too high. Guys, remember, if it takes a few seconds to knock these cases out of the way, then so be it. All right, if it's going to build that pallet better, this even wrapped. So when you wrap this, if you have a wrap machine, it's even going to push this over even more. I mean, it's possible this pallet falls over, even wrapped. It's a really good possibility that this pallet falls over. I do like how you put your strawberries in the middle to try to get the balance, you know, to off center it, but it still is way too high for those skinny strawberries. All right, so here's the cases I'm talking about. This is how you want to stack these cases. We have these cases in our warehouse. 2 things. One, they crush really easy on their sides, and this tape sucks. All right, and we got a big box. We got a big opening. So if this tape pops open and this flap pops open, I don't care how much weight you have on the box, it's going to crush it. So these boxes, without a doubt, should not be on their side. And we did this so we could be level. I just put the video out yesterday saying that we will do anything to be level at all costs, and this is one of the things right here. We had These are a 7 block, and we needed 6 more, it looks like. So we 5 blocked this one, and then we put our extra one up here. I would have just put them all upright and put them on the next row. Yeah, they are not good on their sides, and I will never put them on their sides. We're tying in a high to a low. Not a big deal because we're towards the top of the pallet. Would I do it? No, I still want to do it. I would have just pointed these cases inwards as well. These blueberries or whatever these are would have been pointing inwards as well, and then that blueberry would have been somewhere else. So that's all I got to say about that pallet. All right, guys, and here's the reason why I don't like putting those cases on their sides. I mean, they are all buckling. We got, you know, a half a pallet of, and guys, this stuff isn't even that crazy. I mean, we got a little bit of blueberries, then we got mushrooms up here and strawberries, it looks like, and we're buckling these. All of these cases are buckling because they are on their sides. So someone, just by looking at this, it looks like somebody needed 10 of them, and they come in a 7 block. 7 block them. 7 block them and put 3 on the top row. Quit trying, and this is what goes back to, I could have put this on yesterday's video, but I wanted to put it on today's video. Guys, stop compromising your pallet just to be level. These cases have zero business being on their side unless they are being topped off on the top of the pallet. All right, guys, this one got a lot going on. I don't even know where to start on this. So we got cases hanging off the side, way too much. They can crush. It's the back of the pallet too. So if a loader picks this up from the front, if he's not spinning this pallet, picks it up from the front, and he's going to put that, and guys, they need room on the truck, so he's going to slam that, he or she's going to slam that pallet up against the other pallet that's behind it, and all of these cases are going to get crushed. They're going to smash, and probably every strawberry, if these are strawberries in the back, all those clams here, like these right here, these clams are going to just buckle. They're going to pop open. They're going to destroy those cases. We just got a lot going on here. So when you have the same case, like, why is this strawberry even down here? You have these nice big strawberries. It should have been up here with these. These strawberries should have been put somewhere else because they don't fit. These cases here, these blueberries, guys, remember, build from the perimeter of the pallet in. You are building from the inside out, and you never want to do that. And you're getting that result right here. You did it over here too. Where's our corner at? You're too worried about building inside out. So many selectors do this, and it's mainly new selectors. So remember, perimeter of the pallet in. So all these cases should be brought out to the perimeter. These blueberries should be out to the perimeter. And guys, if you have a hole in the middle, so be it. All right, maybe you get some light boxes that you could throw in the middle, like the Fresh Express boxes if they're in this part of the warehouse. But you just need to start column stacking these. Screw this slip sheet. That slip sheet is doing no favors for you, in my opinion. It's just making your pallet even worse. I would just, everything should be column stacked on the wood. Strawberry up here, you could have put all your blueberries on the wood coming up because you have blueberries down here as well. It's just a matter of just keeping the like cases together and building from the perimeter of the pallet in. I hope that helps. And if it don't fit, don't force it. Put it somewhere else. If any questions, if this is your work, any questions, put in the comment section below. All right, guys, another picture that was posted, and I always take this opportunity. First of all, what do you see right here? All these cases are in the part of the pallet that I say, if you put cases like this in this part of the pallet, you force yourself to have a small corner. Okay, so not only that, but I also put a video out on walk-in cases. If you did not see my video on walk-in cases, I will leave that in the description below. You can click that link and watch it. What do I mean by walk-in cases is we start from one side of the pallet and we have to touch case, and then we are left with this. We are always left with a small corner on the back of our pallet whenever we walk cases. So, and when you put cases like this in this part of the pallet, these cases should be these big cases, all these cases should be on the back corner facing in towards the middle, possibly even 2 rows right here facing towards the middle. All of this stuff, anytime I get an open box, it's on the front of my pallet as high as I can get it. This is just that habit of walking cases and putting cases like this in this part of the pallet. Point those cases inwards, guys. All right, once again, I honestly was looking over this pallet trying to look through the mess of it because they just wrapped the crap out of this thing. And it's honestly not a bad pallet. But this box here, 2 things. One, it probably had no business coming so early in the order. So guys, not all warehouses are slotted to the greatest. So what I do is if I ever get a crushable case, I teach my trainees the same way. If you get a case that's early in your order and you're getting a bunch of weight on top of it, toss that sucker to the side. If it's a bigger box like this, you can't put it on your jack, you can't put it on the battery, or maybe you have a 2-pallet order, you can't put it on your other pallet just for to hold off, then just keep moving it up your pallet. If I have to move this case 3 times, I will move it 3 times if I know it crushes. So this person who selected this, if this was their first time going through, then they should know I should never stack cases on this box again, because it's going to do the same exact thing. So guys, you learn the hard way the first time, and you should keep it in mind what the crushable cases are, and don't do it again. I don't even know what this box is. I don't even know if it's because it's on its side. It's possibly on its side, and maybe if it was upright, it would have been a stronger box, but that's what I got to say about this, but it's not a bad looking pallet. All right, guys, and the last pallet I want to look at is this one right here. It's not horrible. By looking at it, I would guess that you're a newer selector. And what happened here is guys, remember, just imaginary line. If you can help not using plastic pallets, don't use plastic pallets. I see blue wood over here stacked. Please do not use these plastic pallets. Yes, they're easy to back under, and yes, they're light throw, but they have holes. If these are the ones with the holes at each corner, your cases are going to dip into those holes, and it looks like that's what that case is doing, and you get more just sturdiness out of a pallet. This pallet would have looked a hell of a lot better if it was on a piece of blue wood. So I highly recommend not using plastic if you do not have to, and we are crushing cases here. Guys, remember, if you select a case that is buckled on one side, face that buckled side towards the inside of the pallet. So if these cases were already buckled, plus I would stick them up front. Any problem cases, any light cases after I establish my baits are always going to the front of my pallet, because when you hit the throttle on the jack, what's your pallet do? It rocks backwards. So if we have crushable cases back here, every time we move, because the front of the jack's right here, and every time this pallet rocks, it's crushing these cases. So remember that. Imaginary lines, you always want to be nice and square. And then you were missing the middle of your pallet here. Now, there's no doubt that you have a hole in the middle of your pallet, and then when you're wrapped, you wrapped very tightly, and you brought this whole entire column over, and it just actually rocked it because we were missing cases in the middle. The middle of your pallet is so important. I'm telling my trainee this. Small cases, following that cross and T that I talk about, and they should always be level. You should not be putting cases in the middle of your pallet from a high to a low. So if you got the inside of your pallet looking like this, you should not be putting a case like this. Slide it back and make it level. You always want your cases level no matter where they are in the pallet, especially in the middle. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Remember, I'm not calling anybody out. That's why I quit putting names to pictures. I am just trying to help you. You guys post your work over there, and I critique it to try to help you build a better pallet and hopefully get those incentives and make as much money as you possibly can. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.